Have you ever felt like your energy just disappeared? That somewhere between the stress, processed foods, and emotional weight, you forgot what it felt like to really feel alive in your own body. Y'all, our guest today, Adrienne Simmons, went from operating at a 2 out of 10 energy levels to radiating such vitality that people stopped her in public just to ask her her secret. And now she's getting ready to share it with us. But before we dive into this episode, you know what time it is. Vibe with me, y'all. Welcome to the Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives podcast. Y'all, it's your healthy habits and lifestyle coach, Jovonnie. Welcome to another episode of the Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives podcast, where we're helping women to stop normalizing pain and start healing from the root to finally reclaim energy. So we definitely got to bring Miss Adrienne, the Vitality Coach. Welcome to the Good Vibes Studio, Miss Adrienne.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and happy weekend to you, my girl.
Yeah. So Miss Adrienne, let's go back to that moment when everything just changed. What was rock bottom like for you, and what was the mindset shift that began your journey to vitality?
Mm-hmm. For me, rock bottom was when my doctor called me and shared the results of some of the testing he had done. I'd gone in 2 weeks previous for my yearly medical checkup. As soon as I walked into the office, I go in every year on the regular. So a year later, he says, Adrienne, oh my God, you look terrible. What's been going on? You've gained a lot of weight since I saw you last year. I see a lot of bags under your eyes. I see dark circles around your eyes. Your skin looks dry and you don't have that pep in your step. What's going on, Adrienne? I just saw you 12 months ago. Now, I got to be honest. When you're growing up, what do you hear your parents say? She's 50. She should be slowing down. He's 57. He should be achy and painy. She's in her 60s. Of course she's got bags. She's tired after working all these years. So I said, Doc, hey, I'm in my mid 50s. What do you mean? I'm supposed to be looking and feeling this way, and that pep is supposed to be gone. He goes, He goes, Adrienne, you've always had a pep in your step. We've always admired you as one of my rare patients, even into your late 40s, Adrienne. You used to bound in the office with a whole bunch of noise. So for me, that was, okay, my doctor is saying something, but you kind of brush it off, right? You brush it off. And then when he called me 2 weeks later with the results of my test, he goes, Adrienne, are you sit down? And I said, what do you mean sit down? You've never told me to sit down. It's like, Adrienne, you're good to go again this year. It's always you're good to go. You're good to go. My checkups have always been good to go. So when he said that, that feeling when someone says, can you sit down for a minute? I have something to say. I knew it wasn't, you just won $1 million. He goes, Adrienne, I'm going to get right to the point. The results of your test, you are pre-diabetic. You are one step away from crossing over to be full-blown diabetic. Now, the reason why that hit me and spiraled me right down was because my father died from his diabetes in his late 60s. So if I'm 55, the only thing I'm thinking of is, you mean I could be dead in another 10, 11 years? So for me, that was kind of it. But what really kind of took me to that final edge was, even though I knew that, I kept on with the same habits. I kept on smoking and drinking, and I'm out all night, and I'm indulging in illicit drugs, and I'm not getting any sleep, and I'm not getting any sunshine, and I'm not doing what my biology is asking me for. I'm doing what the ego Adrienne wants. So it was a couple of months after that checkup. So my checkup was, maybe October, November. So that following January, and I'll never forget it. It was an extremely bitterly cold winter in Toronto. I'm from Toronto, Canada. It was so cold. And again, I was still smoking then, but I never smoked in my house, smoked in the garage. It literally took me 10 minutes just to get dressed, just to layer up, just to go and sit in my garage to smoke a cigarette and smoke a joint. So there I am. My gloves are off because, I can't burn my gloves. I thick gloves. I got a cigarette in one hand. I got a joint in the other hand, and I'm kind of doing this. And then I got a coffee there, and I broke down. I don't know where it came from, but and it was dark. It was a cold, dark night, and I'm sitting there in the dark. And the only bit of light is the light from the cigarette and the light from the joint. And I broke down, and I broke down, and I cried, and I cried, and I said, God, I'm ashamed of myself. I'm disgusted with myself. Every Monday, it's like, you know what? I'm going to change it. It's a brand new week. Come on, Adrienne, you can do better. Walk a little bit more, eat a little bit better. Do not go to the clubs. But by Thursday, that pull, because Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I'm kind of bored and coming home and nothing's happening. By Thursday, I'm back in the clubs. Friday, I'm back in the club. I'm in the after hours. I'm not coming home till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I'm even going to work right after leaving the after hours. So that January, it's like, God, this is not who I am. This is not the kind of person that I want my daughter to see what her mother has evolved in. But I can't do it by myself. This has been going on for 5 years, and I can't get off of my, when a mouse is on that wheel and it just goes around and around, that is what my life felt like at my absolute lowest. And I just cried and I said, God, I need your help. I need your intervention to help me at least start to figure out how do I find my way out of this spiraling wheel. And for me, that was my absolute lowest. And depending on what your next question is, I'll let you know how I eventually climbed up out of that mad hellhole that I had dug myself into. I take full responsibility now.
I appreciate your vulnerability and your transparency to kind of walk us through that. First, I love that you gave us a picture of what it looked like when you came in. It was the weight gain, the dark circles, the dry skin, the bags under your eyes, the things that so many times we might say, oh, it could be allergies, or oh, it's aging, or oh, it's just how my body is right now.
Absolutely.
But when you broke down ego versus biology, that right there was like, like so many people have that struggle of ego versus biology, what my ego is telling me, what my ego is driving me. And most of the time I look at it as habits, like what we're familiar with. And you mentioned that too, with some of the habits that you had versus the ego though, and I think we maintain the habits because of the ego. And I haven't heard too many people bring that into the conversation. But it's like, I can do what I want to do. I can make whatever free will decision choice that I want to, regardless of what I know my body needs or what my body's messages and signals are telling me. But it's the ego that's driving me to keep the habits that I have. And so I love that aspect of it. But then when you broke it down, Miss Adrienne, to the 10 minutes it took you to get dressed, just to go and have two fisting it in a different way. You know what I'm saying? And the only light that you saw was at the end of these, this burning, desire that you had at the particular time that was from the outside and not the light that was from within. I just was like, wow, that is definitely a dark spot and a rock bottom, but you did this for 5 years. Miss Adrienne, do you know what triggered you into this 5-year ego-driven, poor habit lifestyle that kept you so stuck? And then absolutely, we can go into what caused that shift.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. That was just my lifestyle. From the time I was in my 20s and doing my own thing, I was able to eat what I want, started smoking, started drinking. I could stay up all night, go to work the next day, and do it 7 days a week. And you know what? When we're younger, our body has that capacity to continue rejuvenating that energy because it hasn't had the amount of years to get polluted with toxins and stress. So basically, I was up until my late 40s. People who knew me well called me the Energizer Bunny. I was go, 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 and nothing stopped me. So in my mind, why would I think, even as I crossed over my 50-year line, I'm not thinking, why would it stop? That's just who I was. So my behaviors continued to what I was used to. So 51, 52, 53, I'm doing the same thing, not realizing then what I know now is sooner or later, your body's going to say, I can't hold you up anymore. I've done my best to hold you up in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, but the accumulation of all of the bullshit that you're putting in me, the alcohol and the weed and the illicit drugs and the sleepless nights and the no sunshine and no positive reinforcements in my life, that puts an amazing amount of stress on the body. But what exacerbated it was when my daughter left me alone. She left me and she went to university. I was a single mother from the time she was 3. So it was always her and I. I always had a reason. I had a why to come home. I got to go home and take care of my girl. I got to make dinner. I got to do her homework. I got to spend time. We're doing here. We're doing there. She leaves now and goes to university, and I got nothing to do. And I realized that my whole life had been wrapped up in my daughter. So because I have all this energy, when she first left and I would come home, I'm looking around the house thinking, I ain't got nobody to take care of. So I was like a lion in a cage. Because of my energy, I'm just pacing up and down. And then I said, well, you know what? Let me not come home. So I started going out, first of all, just to a restaurant. But then I get home at 9. And remember, I got a lot of energy and I'm pacing the house at 9. I've never been a person to sit down and just watch TV. So I said, you know what? I didn't even want to be home at 9. And that's when I realized, oh, there are some bars that you can go to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I started discovering bars. So I'd leave the restaurant at 9 and I would go to a bar, a couple of drinks, some music, and then I'm maybe home at 11 o'clock. Okay, that's kind of cool. But you see, when you're in certain environments, you get introduced to other things going on. And that's when I was introduced to something called an after hours. What's an after hours? You mean I can leave here and go somewhere underground and drink some more and dance some more? So I started checking out after hours. And that's where I got introduced to some illicit drugs. Because remember, you got to keep yourself pumped up. You got to keep yourself. So slowly but surely, I started dabbling. And I liked it. It felt good. And for me, it was that boredom of coming home and nothing to do. Because I have energy, I need to keep going. I'm not one to come home and sit on the sofa. So that lifestyle worked for me. So from 50 to about 55, when I had my break, leave work, go to a restaurant, go to a sports bar, go to an after hours. And so I was going 7 days a week. But on Sunday, it's like, I feel ashamed. I'm ashamed. And it's like, okay, I'm not going to go this week. So sometimes I was able to hold off on the Monday because I'm exhausted. And the Tuesday I'd come home. But you see, come Wednesday, I'm getting itchy. Because remember, I've had Monday night and Tuesday night to rev up. I've had a chance to rest. And come Wednesday, it's like, you know what? Let me just go to a sports bar. But I promise I'll go home. But you see, by Thursday night, after hours, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday, the guilt. So it was like a spiral. Guilty on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm doing the same thing. And what really frightened me was my daughter's coming home. University's done. 5 years is done now. It's like, my God, there is no way I can let her come home and see what her mother has fallen to. Whenever she'd come home for weekends sometimes, or Christmas or Thanksgiving, of course I'm behaving. She's there. We got things to do. Not a problem. I mean, she did question sometimes, Mom, you look a little bit different. Are you okay? Yeah, baby. You know what? It's work. It's work. I'm busy at work. Got a lot of projects. You know you ain't telling your child, I just got home at 5 o'clock this morning. So it was the lying to my child. It was the lying to the healthcare professional at work. Some people said, Adrienne, you just don't seem to be as, the light in you doesn't seem to be shining like it used to. Oh, you know what? And I make up stuff. You know what? I'm helping some people here. I'm probably not getting enough rest. Don't worry about it. I'm okay. Don't worry about it. I'm okay. And inside, when I'm in the club doing my thing, it's like, Adrienne, man. Oh boy. Oh, wow. Just thinking about it, it's like that shame. I was disgusted. with myself.
And I think we don't talk enough about the shame
Mm.
and how
Mm.
we
Mm.
allow the shame to really work for our benefit, to turn things around that leads to our shift. And I think that's the part that you're about to get into now. So we know that your daughter left. That's what caused the, I don't know what to do with myself. Now I got all this spare time, this extra energy, and you start this toxic cycle of these habits. And it's 5 years of that, but now my daughter's getting ready to come home. What did it look like? Like, how did you feel in that moment? What were those symptoms that you were experiencing? And then what did you start to do to really change and shift and use that shame to shift your lifestyle around?
For me, it wasn't so much the shame. It was the medical call of being pre-diabetic and almost diabetic and potentially dying in 10 years. Number two, it was my baby girl is coming home. There's no way I could ever allow her to see the level that her mother has allowed herself to drop down to. Number three, she may get married one day. She may have children one day. I want to be there for my grandchildren. I never wanted to be the grandparent who's sitting on the side, too tired to get involved in any kind of play activity. I got energy. I want to be able to say, hey, grandchild, you're slow. Keep up with Gma. And number four, everybody, if you know Miss Betty White, she was on the Golden Girls. Betty White, up until the day she died at 99, was still co-producing and acting. Betty White was my role model. I said, I want to be 99 and I want to be kicking ass like Betty White. So for me, those four whys were enough to say, you know what, Adrienne, your life cannot end here. This is not the end of your story. So I don't know what happened, but I believe that God responded from that plea when I was crying in that garage, because I noticed that over the next few weeks, there a shift. I didn't feel that same urge to go out. Instead, a curiosity opened up inside of me. You know what? I wonder how women's bodies change as we move into the third stage of our lives, into our 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Let me see if there is something I can do to maybe feel a little bit better. I did not connect it to energy. It was like, you know what? I need to feel better about myself. So I started doing some research and I started finding and learning. And it's like, really? You mean to say that if I eat maybe a few more apples or grapes or vegetables or grains, I'll start to feel better? Okay, well, let me try it. So I started shifting my nutritional choices. And it's like, oh, okay. And then it was movement. Okay, so instead of sitting at my desk at lunch, let me get outside and let me just start walking a little bit. Okay, yeah, okay. And then it was natural light. Okay, well, let me spend a little bit more time out in natural light. Okay, the energy started to, okay, nature. Okay, there's a lot of trails where I live. I've never walked them. Let me start spending time in nature. Okay, okay. And then it was who do you surround yourself with? And for 5 years, I had surrounded myself with obviously a group of individuals that was all about like a vampire. We only wake up at nighttime. We're out at night. It wasn't to my best nature. So I decided, you know what? Let me see if I can find a group of women in their 50s who choose to live a more vibrant and healthy life. And let me start connecting with them and seeing what I can learn from them. So, of course, I found a lot of those groups on Facebook and I started connecting with those women, and it was about empowerment and it was about encouragement and it was accountability and it was about you can do better and it's about have a dream and move forward towards your dream and move forward towards your best self. So with all of those ingredients, over a 12-month period using myself as a beta test. Because I said, with all this information, let me test myself and let me see if I can feel healthier over time. So from when I started the beta test, like you said, 2 to 3 out of 10 most days with energy, as I started moving through that next year, I felt a little bit more energetic. And by the end of the 12th month, I can say I definitely felt an 8 to a 9 to a 10 out of 10 when it came to energy. And that's when I realized, God, I bounced out of bed feeling like, you know what, I have purpose, it matters, and I can make a difference. Now, from there, people started noticing a peppier Adrienne. And people were always, Adrienne, you look better. I see that light is back. You've lost some weight. You're walking with your head held high and your shoulders back and more confidence. What are you doing? And that's when I started sharing just some. I said, you know what? I don't know, but I'm eating a bit better. I'm shopping more so from the outside in the grocery aisle. I've joined the gym. I was walking. I'm out in the sunlight every day. I'm hanging out with some cool, groovy women. Maybe that has something to do with it. Remember, I'm still not kind of connecting it. And people started saying, well, okay, well, tell me more and tell me more and tell me more. And can I touch you? And can I touch you? And what happens if I touch you? And how do I get what you have? Because my day would look totally different, Adrienne, if I had your level of energy. And that's when I said, energy? Oh, they're calling it energy. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. People, obviously, who are not living with energy find energy a commodity. So if you are living with fatigue and brain fog, and that was wrapped up in my weight gain, in the baggy eyes, in the saggy skin, I was tired. I was just tired. I was tired mentally. I was tired emotionally. I was tired spiritually. I dragged through my days. My mind is like I was unfocused. It's like, what was I just saying? I don't remember. And it was like all of that cleared up as I cleaned out my beautiful, precious body. And it was the energy that I realized that I always had, because I believe energy is our birthright. I lost my energy because of the choices I made. And by God's kind grace and mercy, I was able to reclaim my beautiful energy.
Thank you, Miss Adrienne. Thank you for walking through that visual experience and journey of strength and power, but most importantly, how you really made the shift, but you embodied everything that you went through. So y'all, real quick, I wanted to let you all know that if you've been pushing through the pain, feeling drained, bloated, moody, or just not like yourself, it's time to stop managing symptoms and start healing from the root. I created a free training just for you, the Heal Method, where I'll show you how to break up with inflammation and reclaim your energy naturally through mindset, mindful eating, and movement. No guessing. Check the show notes for the training. So, Miss Adrienne, first of all, I love when you talked about forward living, because Forward Vibrations is the name of the brand. It's the vibe, baby. It's the vibe. And for me, it was, being diagnosed with stage 4 endometriosis, adenomyosis, polycystic ovary syndrome, and they found 2 fibroids at the time of my surgery. It was like, okay, first of all, I've never even heard of most of these things. Yes. Like fibroids, yes. I had a few line sisters that experienced that. But that other stuff, I was like, what is this? A lot of times I equated my symptoms from what I had already seen in my family, just normalizing it as it's hereditary or, just kind of passing it off. I was normalizing the pain. I was normalizing the facial hair, the hormonal imbalances. But when I got those diagnoses, it shifted something in me too. First of all, hearing the word cyst, you automatically like, what's going on inside of my body? And I think listening to your story and then relating it to mine and so many others, it's like we get so caught up of living on the outside that we're so careless about what's happening on the inside of our body and what we're doing that's causing so much of the inside issues. And I'm just like, this this can't be something that we just pass off. And it's like, once you know these things, or once those chronic conditions start knocking at your door and you realize they're in your body, or they're in your habits, or they're within your lifestyle, it's like, what am I going to do to change? I don't want my biology to be diminished by my ego because I'm so comfortable living this life. And you kind of talked about it a little bit. You didn't go into a lot of depth with it because it sounded a little bit more like me. When you start embracing the forward living, you're not really paying a lot of attention to the grief of the old lifestyle. You're just trying to figure out, how do I continue to move myself forward to get what I know, what I deserve, because now I'm starting to feel better by some of the few changes that I made. And
Absolutely.
You talked about just eating a little bit more fruit, eating some more vegetables. Okay, I'm starting to feel better. I'm starting to feel a little bit more like the self that I used to have. Now I'm starting to walk. Oh, I'm walking on my break. Now walking makes me feel good. The sunlight is coming in. So my body pretty much needs this nature outside and this sunlight. Now it's my environment around the people. So many times we don't understand how toxic people are. And it's become this trend of, oh, this person's toxic, that person's toxic. No, that relationship might be toxic, but there's so many more things that you're putting yourself in an environment by yourself that makes you toxic to the life that you are living currently, that you can shift and change if you want to, and you want to get into a place where you are curious, like you said, to do something different just to see if it works for you. And I think my biggest irritation, Miss Adrienne, is when people say, I've tried everything. And there's no way that you've tried every single thing, even in a holistic standpoint. There's so many natural things that you could try on the spectrum of this world, and that you can't say, I tried everything and it just doesn't work. No, you probably didn't. There's probably some things you haven't tried yet, and you haven't tried long enough to really allow your body to benefit, because that is something else you said, Miss Adrienne. You talked about years. Up to 20 to 50, living a toxic lifestyle. Your body was getting polluted for almost 30 years.
That's right.
And then now all of a sudden you want to change. You gave yourself a year to start seeing benefits, to start seeing what's actually working before you really leaned more into it and said, this is the life I know I deserve because of my 4 or 5 whys that you mentioned, right?
Absolutely,
and it's like, if you didn't commit to something for a whole entire year, and you gradually continue to build those habits and cause those shifts, you can't truly say you've tried everything, or you really embrace the journey of loving yourself. And that's what it all boils down to, is getting to a journey of loving yourself. It can be through mindset, mindful eating, and movement. But again, you're choosing those things because you're finding ways to love you from the inside out, not just what it looked like on the outside. So I really appreciate you walking through all of that and realizing, okay, vitality is my birthright. But how do you define vitality beyond just feeling good, Miss Adrienne?
For me, vitality is waking up and feeling I got the whole day ahead of me. I'm excited. So I'm excited about the potentiality of what I can achieve ahead of me. To me, vitality is anything that I engage in. If it's simply a walk in the morning, I'm walking, connecting with nature. I talk to the flowers. I talk to the birds. I say hi to people that go by me. For me, vitality is sharing that energy, that automatic biochemical energy that I have in abundance. When I connect with you on the street and I say good morning to you, it's not good morning. It's good morning. Enjoy your day. So for me, vitality is a sense of fullness. I feel full. For me, vitality is gratitude. I feel so much gratitude for just the simple things around me. It's like, you know what? Thank you, trees. I appreciate the beautiful shade. Thank you, sunshine. You have basically allowed me to see a beautiful day around me. So for me, vitality is really feeling the gratitude and saying thank you. For me, vitality is when I want to climb up the stairs, I don't even have to think elevator or stairs. It's like, you know what? We're doing the stairs because I know I can do it. So for me, vitality is confidence. For me, vitality is empowerment. For me, vitality is I feel so proud of Adrienne because anything I want to do, I do it to the fullest. And I don't feel tired because I continue to build a healthy energy body every single day because my daughter is married now. My daughter has a son now. I just got back from spending last night with him, and my daughter goes, Mom, where do you get that energy? Mom, he's 60 months old. We can't keep up, and you're zooming up and down with him. And it's like, that's why I started this a few years ago when I got that diagnosis and I broke down in the garage and I said, God, if you help me get out of this, we're only moving forward. My grandson, it is manifested. I wanted to, of course I wanted her to have children. And I said, God, if my daughter has children, I want to keep up. I want to keep up. When he's 10 and he goes, Grandma, we need a coach on the team. I want to say, okay, let's go, let's go. I don't want to be one of those grandparents sitting in the bleachers. When he's 15 and says, Grandma, let's go skateboarding. I want to say, all right, let's go, let's go, let's go. I can be 60. I can be 65. I can be 70. I want to keep up with my grandson and any other future children they may have. When I go traveling, that was always my dream. I don't want to travel and say, you know what? There's a chance to walk in the Amazon jungle, but what did you say? It's going to be 25 kilometers. Now I'll just sit by the pool. I want to say, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm 75. Let's walk in that Amazon jungle. Anything that I want to do, I never want to know that it's because of my lack of energy that I can't do it. That's no longer an excuse. Not at all. I'm living the life I have left to the absolute maximum. No more minimum living. I lived minimum living for 5 years. And you know what? I ain't going back. I am not. I don't care what kind of drink you put in front of me. I don't care how many Big Macs you put in front of me. I don't care how many illicit drugs you put in front of me. When I look at that and look at this right now, I got to be honest. There's no more comparison. There's no more. For me, it's not negotiable. I love my life now. I love my life.
I love that you said that. Like, I love the no more minimal living. And it's a huge shift for your mindset. And I see mindset as thoughts, feelings, beliefs that lead into your behaviors that create your reality, which and then is your lifestyle, right? Absolutely. And I like that you said that because I wasn't ever a Big Mac fan. I would do the double cheeseburgers or the Filet-O-Fish, but when I embraced the plant-based lifestyle and saw so many benefits in my life, from the regular periods now, the no more painful periods, barely, so much is hardly any pain there anymore. Like when I started seeing my body, the energy, I had more energy than my middle school and my high school students. Everybody always like, Miss Boy, you always so lit. Like when I started seeing the benefits, it was like, I'm not interested in going back to the meat. Yeah. I'm not interested in going back to the dairy. Like it's not even a negotiating thing. It's just, that's not the life I want to live anymore because I've experienced these benefits, and these benefits have been benefiting me to live a more empowered lifestyle that makes me feel more like I'm thriving and not just surviving. And if I can create those experiences and still enjoy my life, why do I need to go back to doing things that I just used to do? And so that's the whole reason why I wanted to help people, Miss Adrienne, is because there was so many issues with people being able to grieve those previous lifestyles and truly have a mindset that embraces a new habit, a new lifestyle. And it's in stages. Like you said, it was just adding fruit every now and then. It was adding the vegetables. Then it was going for the walks. Like you need to have your whys identified, because when you start to have those limiting beliefs, when those feelings start coming back that you're used to having and the familiar life, you have to be able to find a way to shift. Anchor
to your why. Anchor.
There you go. And it's like, look, I bet people who listened at the beginning of this episode hear your whys, list those down, and then to now hear that you have that grandson, to now hear that you have that energy that's circulating more than their parents. And they might be thinking, well, that's because she don't have her grandson every day. No, it's because of the lifestyle that you maintain. Because even if you did have them, it sounded like you're ready to coach a whole team, so you can take more than just him at one time.
Hello.
it's not that we've reached this level of lifestyle that we don't want to not give back, because we've been where you are. And that's the whole reason why we turned our purpose, what we went through, what we were experiencing, into something that we wanted to help other people do. And so if you're listening to this podcast episode right now and you are relating to what Miss Adrienne's gone through, you're relating to my mission, my vibes, and what I'm saying and how I identify with these things, we meet you where you are when this thing called life. We're not expecting you to be where we are right now. We want to meet you where you were, because we were there too. Maybe years ago, maybe last week, but there's things that we've experienced that now could help you really shorten that time frame of learning what's going to work for you. Because if it worked for us, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you just the way it looked like us. It's about you embracing your own journey, because it's time to stop the minimal living, because that is not what you were here or created to do. So let's go into this thing real quick, Miss Adrienne. Let's do a quick self-check. What are 3 signs that someone listening right now might be low on energy and not even know it?
You wake up in the morning and you just feel listless. I got to go to work. I know I got to sit in traffic, but just the thought of your day ahead doesn't excite you. For me, that's a sign of not even physical, but it's just kind of you're feeling it, that emotional, spiritual drain. That's one sign. Number 2, just simply carrying 2 bags of groceries. And by the time you get to your car, your heart rate has increased. Your respiration, you're breathing heavier, and that's only 2 bags of groceries. That's a sign of physical fatigue. Number 3, whatever you do, you used to be a little bit more engaged. You used to be more, you would participate more. That creative kind of juice and energy. You always used to be able to kind of come up with ideas and solutions, but it's dragging now. It's kind of dragging now, and you just don't feel that same oomph to get engaged, whether it's at work, whether it's with the family. It's that mental, it's like, you know what? That's a sign that, you know what? You're mentally tired, because you're not producing that same amount of energy, allowing you to be as creative and as engaged and as interactive. That's a sign, you know what? That might be mental fatigue. It's what you're feeling, but it's to figure out what the symptom is, because a lot of times we have no idea what the underlying symptoms are that may be causing you to be spiritually fatigued, emotionally fatigued, mentally fatigued, and physically fatigued. We obviously know maybe a lack of exercise or nutrition, but when it comes to that mental fatigue and emotional fatigue, there are some underlying, but those are 3 signs that you might say, you know what? My energy, I'm not getting sufficient energy flow into those channels, my spiritual channels, my emotional channels, and my mental channels.
Thank you for breaking that down. And I agree. I feel like the physical fatigue, we clearly can see that and feel that, because again, it's on the outside. And on the inside is where we need to have that key awareness of what's really happening and going on in our body to even identify the mental fatigue or the emotional fatigue, to even lean into the spiritual fatigue. So I really appreciate you breaking it down. But then you actually talked about like the nutrients or nutrition. So what role does food play in our energy restoration, and how can we really eat for vitality, according to Coach Adrienne?
What I've realized as I went through my transformation, and as I continue to intentionally build a healthy energy body, I've come to realize that at our core, we are a living organism. And as such, our biology was designed to align with other forms of biology and organisms. Plant foods are organisms that our body was designed for. So if the Creator created everything that we already need, we need to start realigning our biology with what was designed for us, and that is plant-based food. That is water, because we are 70 to 80% made of water. Our biology, our cells and tissues want the nutrients that come naturally from root foods. Our biology, if we are an organism, if you look at an organism under a microscope, an organism is always moving. Hence, if we are an organism, we need to move our bodies. We need to keep our bodies in movement, to keep our cells strong, to keep our bones strong, our ligaments strong. We are natural organisms of this planet, and we need to get natural light. The vitamin D, the vitamins that we get naturally from the sunlight, we need that to keep our cells strong and healthy if we want to maintain a strong, healthy body, resulting in vitality. Because we are human beings, more on a human being level, we need to, and because we are social creatures, we need to ensure that we do our best to surround ourselves with positive other social creatures. That feeds our mental and our emotional wellness. So for me, everything that we were created for naturally, we need to reconnect with everything on this planet that is already there, provided for us from the Creator. Too many of us have moved away from what is naturally meant for us. And all I'm saying is we need to move back towards embracing what God has blessed us with. And so much of it is free. We need to realize it doesn't cost us to reconnect with what our biology was made for. That's how I feel about that.
I love that. And because we're talking about nutrition, y'all check the show notes. I have a guide that breaks down the nutritional value of plant-based food. So even though you're accustomed to eating different ways, it's not to make you turn plant-based. It's so you can get the plant-based nutrients and nutrition that you deserve. So it goes over the grains, the fruits, the vegetables, all the different things that you're getting from these different sources. And then it provides you with recipes so you can be inspired to create something of your own based on your palate. So check the show notes for that. Miss Adrienne, something that I absolutely loved is you talked about reconnecting. And I don't think people always understand and know how to connect back to themselves because they've lived a life so much of disconnection or connecting to the wrong things and the wrong people. So can you kind of talk about how you embrace this process or journey to connecting back to self, to a place where you're able to start actually listen to your body and be able to be in silence and stillness and it not make you go crazy?
I'm so glad you asked that because this is one of my favorite parts about sharing my message. Again, I've learned a lot through my own transition, and what I've come to realize even past that, and as I continue to see success in building a consistently vibrant body, is why is it that we know we're not supposed to eat processed food? We know we're supposed to be moving more. We know we're supposed to be surrounding ourselves, but we still choose that which we know is not best for us. What would happen if we started to befriend our different energy channels? The same way you would create a friendship with a really good friend, someone you would say right now is my best friend. This person has my back. This is my bestie. Whatever you want to call the person currently in your life that would stand up for you through thick and thin, what if we created that kind of a relationship with our physical body, with our mental mind, with our emotional feelings, and with our spirit? If we started to befriend all of our energy channels, and when we make decisions moving forward, we take in our whole self instead of our ego self. Because up to now, it was always, well, what does Adrienne want? I want a Big Mac. I want some wings. I'm tired. I sat in traffic for an hour. I'm not going to the gym. I just want to crash on the sofa. I just want a beer. I just want a joint. I'm not taking my whole self into consideration. I'm taking my ego self. So I learned to befriend all of my energy channels that have supported me from the day I was born. My body and mind and spirit and emotions has had my back from the time I was born. And even when I put it through all that bullshit, my body still held me up. Yes, it took a toll. And yes, we crawled through our days, but I could have died. But my body says, no, I still got you, Adrienne. I still got you, Adrienne. But Adrienne, do me a favor. Can I just have some vegetables, please? Can I just have some water, please, Adrienne? Can we just go out for a walk, Adrienne? And I promise you, Adrienne, we'll feel better. And when you feel better, Adrienne, we'll feel better again the next day. So when I realized that, you know what? If I listen to what my body is asking me for, and I just give her that, she rewards me in abundance. So I've realized up until today, you see our bodies, they have had our backs from the time we were born. And no matter what we put it through, our bodies still hold us up. Even some of us who are 100 pounds overweight, tired and exhausted, our bodies are still caring for you. And your body asks you for so little. Your body does not ask you for a lot. It just says, can we just go outside and just go for a little walk, even if it's just 15 minutes? Can we maybe just get up and just kind of just move around a little bit? And I promise you, I'll reward you with a little bit of energy. Can we just have a salad today instead of, the fries and the gravy? And can we just a little, please? And I promise you, I'm going to give you more energy. And when I realized, you know what, man, my body asks me so little. And it's so easy for me just to go out for a walk. It's so easy for me to have some oranges and apples instead of the nachos and the processed cheese. You know what, body? I can do that for you, sweetheart. Because you know what, man, you've had me. And you still have me. And I want you to have me until I'm 100. My grandmother died at 110. I want to live till 110, vibrant. And you're telling me all I have to do is just give you a little bit of foods from roots? You mean all I have to do is maybe get up and go out for a walk every day? You mean all I have to do is just get some sunshine every day? You mean all I have to do is maybe sit quietly and maybe meditate and do some breath work? Because you remember, your mind also needs to chill. Your emotions need to chill. Sometimes the energy says, you know what, Adrienne, let's just chill for a while. We've been busy. Adrienne, can we just chill? Maybe just sit down and read a little book. You think I would have ever read a book years ago? It's like, go, go, go. Now it's like, you know what? You want to chill, sweetheart? Absolutely. Let's take some breaths. Let's close our eyes and let's relax. If that's what you want, you got it, sweetheart. So I have now learned to keenly listen. Every so often I'll tune in. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I've given all my energy channels a name. I encourage people to give them a name, because when you talk to your friend, you don't say friend, you call her, Adrienne, how you doing today? So I've named my body, I've named my emotions, I've named my mind, and I've named my soul. So throughout my day, I'll say, how you doing, Binta? And Binta is my body. Every so often, I'll say, how you doing, SA? And again, they all have spiritual meanings. I'll say, how you feeling? How you feeling? And I listen to what she has to say. Every so often, I'll say, Makiba, it's my mind. M for Makiba. Makiba, what are you thinking about? Are there any thoughts inside that really don't belong there? And you see my soul? That's my spirit guide. I'll say spirit guide. Are you enjoying? Because remember, we are all conscientious, intelligent of this universe, living in this container, which has been named Adrienne. So I know I need to connect with my spirit guide and say, am I showing you a fantastic day today? Am I showing you a fantastic today? Because that spirit is living life through me. And I want every day the Spirit of God to say, Adrienne, we had a great day. When I go to bed at night, I say, Spirit God, did you have a great day today? And my spirit guide says, oh boy, Adrienne, what a whirlwind. But it was a fantastic day because you showed so much service to others. My days are spent in service to others because that is the greatest boost of energy to me. Service of others boosts my spiritual energy channels. And for me, if I touch all of my energy channels every day, it's like, you know what? I go to bed and I sleep like a sweet little baby, just like my grandson. Bam, I'm sound asleep and saying thank you.
I love it. I love it. I love that you gave your energy channel names because that's powerful within itself already. When you acknowledge and you call it by name, it gives it so much power. But the 110 vibrant, that hits differently for me, Miss Adrienne, because as I see my family age and get older, and I'm aware of how like my lifestyle has been, and like you said, with the movement, with the foods, the fruits, the vegetables, getting in the proper nutrients, it minimizing and eliminating stress, distress to be, exact. It's so powerful and needed for the body. But when you're trying to educate and empower and inspire those that you love that are aging and they're still wanting to do now what you've allowed me to call ego work, ego habits, ego living, minimal living, it was always like this frustration, this tension is because I know better, I'm living better, I'm trying to show you better, but you're at this place where you're saying, well, if they've lived for 80, 85, 90, they can eat whatever they want. They've lived long enough to eat whatever it is that they want. It's like they can't eat whatever it is that they want. Again, that could be ego driven, that could be comfort, that could be habit. But at the end of the day, because they're still living, you would want them to live vibrantly. You would want them to not be in so much pain. You would want them to be able to continue to see their family grow and to be around for special moments. And it's like that tension for me is just like, okay, you have to love and you have to accept that people are where they are in their journey and in their life. And sometimes you can't press upon them those things because it will cause the tension and the resistance for a day that may still be possible for them to be ready to receive something different in regards to their journey. So I don't know if that's anybody else that's out here doing service work and you want to see the life of your loved ones improve, increase, and there's just small, simple habits that can help them do those things, and they're not quite ready yet to own that part of their journey. Just keep loving them and keep living yours because you still don't know who may still benefit from you.
And you never know who's watching you. You never know who's watching you.
And they don't tell you a lot of when they are watching either. And so that's a big thing. And so I kind of wanted to talk about it because you already talked about the root foods, the movements, the sunlight, the meditation, the breath work, the energy channels, having to befriend those things and really focus on the whole self and not the ego self. And really, I'm going to say it right now. Here's your vibe check right now in this episode. Whenever you feel like you're about to make a decision, ask yourself, is this your ego self making this decision or your whole self making this decision? Meaning your whole self is going to thank you for what decision you're making right now in this moment. All right. Start checking it. Don't give yourself shame. Just start checking yourself when you start making these decisions, and you'll start seeing a shift, especially if you're already tuned in and listening to a podcast episode with Miss Adrienne, Coach Adrienne, the Vitality Coach, and Healthy Habits and Lifestyle Coach Jovonnie. You're already trying to be in spaces and connect to get empowered to embrace your own journey of love. But Miss Adrienne, what is the cost of emotionally or spiritually ignoring your own energetic depletion?
Living life to the min. Living life to the min. You know, I believe that when we are born, that is a gift from God. There are trillions of sperms that your dad had, billions of eggs that your mom had. Any of them could have connected, but God decided the two that connected made you. You are here as a gift to God so God can experience life through you. When you do not live your life as your biology was meant to be lived, and instead the decisions that you make are all about you, even though we all know that we should be eating more fruits and vegetables and whole grains. You can't tell me, unless for some reason you've been in a dungeon from the time you were born and you were never educated. Otherwise, we all know we're taught in school. We're all taught about drinking water. We're all taught about exercise. We're all taught about, have more positive peers around you. We're all taught about a quiet time and meditating and time in nature. So if you know this, and you do know this, but you choose to, just based on habit and comfort and maybe ego for some, but it's about me and what do I deserve and happened to me, and it's about me and it's about me. And you know that you are not feeling your best. You already know. People know when you start to gain weight, and the next time you put on those pants, you can't do it up, and you go and buy your bigger size, and the following year you're buying a bigger size. We know the truth, but we kind of, like I did for 5 years, you kind of, I'm doing my drugs. I'm pushing it aside. But I know on Monday, oh, come on, Adrienne, we know better, but we choose not to do better for current comfort, current pleasure, that's not fair. It's about me. We are not living the gift that God gave us. And for me, living a life of vitality, living a life of wellness, living a healthier life. I'm just saying a healthier life, maybe not at my level, maybe not at your level, but if you can live a little bit healthier than you did yesterday, then you are giving a gift back to God, because God resides, whatever you want to call it, God, Buddha, whatever you want to call it, that spirit of life within us deserves to be expressed in the best life possible. So when you live minimally, you are showing God, well, you know what? This is all you're getting, man. This is all you're getting. And I don't believe that that is the life God wanted for you when the seeds of the universe said, I'm going to make this girl right here. I'm going to make her. She's going to be great. I don't believe that you are living that seed that was into you that God wanted you to live. So living a minimal life is showing God, well, that's all I'm giving you. That's all you getting. This is all you getting. And God is saying, but there's so much more. There's so much more. Can we live just a little bit better tomorrow? I want to enjoy it. God wants to enjoy a full life through you. So please just show God maybe tomorrow just a little bit more. Just say, God, you know what? Okay, here you go. Here you go. To say thank you, God, for giving me gift of life. I'm going to give you a little bit more. That's just how I see it.
I love it. Thank you. So not living the gift God gave us. Mm-hmm. That's the cost.
Yeah.
That's the cost. Okay. So Coach Adrienne, have you ever worked with someone whose energy was depleted, but after applying your vitality method came back to life?
Oh, of course. Whether working with them or even, because I work full time and colleagues all the time will kind of come up to me individually, and just like small tips that I share with individuals, they do kind of a couple of weeks later, it's like, you know what, Adrienne? I'm feeling a little bit better. Tell me something else. Like, what else can I do? Like, what do you kind of think is next? Not everybody is kind of ready to get involved in a coaching program. And for me, it's not, at the end of the day, it's not about getting paid to make somebody realize that the gift of God wants to flow through them. If I can just share some basic information, for me, that's my gift back to you, because remember, there is God in you and there's God in me. So when I share just simple things with you, I am saying to the God in you, there you go. There you
I
go.
love it.
I share my love with you, God, through my girlfriend right here. I share it
And
with
I
you.
think we do that, like even this conversation right here, like no one is paying us to have this conversation right here, for us to share our journeys, empower, educate. And I think that right there is enough to go and help someone shift something, try something, embrace something that they might not have had they not heard us, and us not be scared or hesitant with coming forth with sharing our journey, being visible, being vocal, having the confidence and the boldness just to own it. And I think that's power that no one can ever take back from us, is owning our story and then owning it to a place where it could potentially benefit someone else, especially in podcast form, because who knows who listens to this, this week, whenever it drops, or 5 years, 10 years from now, and it still hits and resonates.
Absolutely.
But I got something for you. Let's do a quick fire round, something I'm trying different. But what's worse for your energy, lack of sleep or emotional clutter?
Lack of sleep, because during sleep, that's when our thoughts throughout the day are being processed. And that's when all of the toxins, whether physical toxins, environmental toxins, or mental stress toxins, get cleaned out. So for me, definitely deep restorative sleep.
Let's go. Lack of sleep. Got it. All right. That's what's worse for your energy, is lack of sleep, according to Coach Adrienne. All right, here we go. Coffee. Is it a sacred tool or a silent saboteur?
In moderation, because there are a lot of antioxidants in coffee that are beneficial for our biology. Because you remember that bean comes from a root. Anything from a root contains a nutrient that God and Mother Nature together put into the soil to nourish our bodies. So within moderation.
All right. So we got, it is a sacred tool in moderation due to the root of its nourishment and creation. All right. So that's it. All right. So what's a snack or drink that zaps energy you wish more people knew about?
That zaps, you mean that increases your energy? For me,
what's a snack or drink that zaps energy you wish more people knew about?
Water. Absolute water. Water, water, water. A, quenching our thirst. B, rehydrating us. And for some reason, when you drink water, because our cells and tissues are made of basic fluid and plasma, it needs that water to be rehydrated, to reboost your cells from a cellular level. So for me, drink, it would definitely be water. Snack, I got to be honest, anything, it could be a grain, anything from a root. So whether it's nuts, whether it's some grains, whether it's seeds, mix them all together, throw in some raisins, some cranberries, a little bit of blueberries, cut up some fruits and vegetables, mix it up together. Oh my God, your body is saying, it's a symphony. It's a symphony. And your body is saying, thank you. Thank you. Your cells are saying, oh God, I feel good. You know when a kid is happy and it's Christmas morning? That's how your cells and tissues feel when you feed it root-based foods, man. Every day, your cells are like kids at Christmas Day. Christmas morning.
Well, thank you for breaking that down and humoring me in the quick fire. Something that I tried differently, but I figured with the Vitality Coach, I had to get it in there real quick and see how quick the fire would be with these questions. So last two questions. Give some advice, some words of encouragement, or some insights on how male role models, father figures, spouses, or partners could best support women or young adults, young girls dealing with pelvic pain, period pain, hormonal imbalances, potentially infertility struggles and issues. How could they be more a part of the experience and support system, bringing them into the conversation and not outside of it?
Mm-hmm. For me, from my perspective, I'm going to say it starts off with letting the individual that you want to support know that you are there to support them. A lot of times, if those words aren't shared, that, you know what, I got your back. I don't care what it is. I want you to always know when you're ready, I am here to listen. I'm not here to judge. If you, maybe you don't want advice, maybe you just want someone to kind of start that conversation with. I want you to know that I got your back because I love you. So for me, the best way to support someone that we care about, let them know that your door is open to just listen. No feedback if you don't want, no comments. I will sit and listen in silence whenever you are ready to come and open up and share what's sitting inside of your heart that you want a little bit more clarity around.
I love that message, Miss Adrienne. I know other people have said listen and be open, but I love that you said I got your back. And it kind of goes back to the message that you said a few minutes ago about your body always having your back. So to my endometriosis conquerors, my adenomyosis thrivers, my fibroid fighters, and my PCOS posse, my polycystic ovarian syndrome posse, remember, your body has your back. No matter how hard it feels like it's defeating or going against you, it has your back. You just have to figure out how to get in best alignment with it, how to best show up for it, how to best love it. And it's not always going to be a quick fix or a fad or a trend to do for a short amount of time. It's going to cause you to truly embrace a lifestyle change and a journey to get back to loving you only a way that you can love yourself. And so thank you for that. I got your back. And Coach Adrienne and Healthy Habits and Lifestyle Coach Jovonnie got your back too. So definitely tap in and let us know if you need any support. Last question, Miss Adrienne. If you could have a meal with any historical figure, who would it be and what would you all eat?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. So many. Maya Angelou, Martin Luther King, Jesus, Nelson Mandela. Oh man, there's just so many individuals that have come and gone and blessed this world with their presence, with their passion, with their empathy. And the meal would be everything that God and Mother Nature gave us for free. They planted it in the soil and it has grown and it continues to grow and flourish. That would be the meal that we shared. Because for me, that is showing respect back to Mama Nature and back to God, the Creator, that everything that you have given us, we're enjoying it, knowing that you are here with us all, because the presence of God is within all of us. We are just living a we're just here for a second. In the time span of this universe, we're here for just a blink of an eye. Just a blink of an eye. So just to know that the Spirit of God is sitting with all of us at that table, that's who I would share it with, and that's what the meal would look like.
I'm a foodie. So I don't know what just came out the soil and hit the plate. I need a little bit more visual context to help my mouth water during this session of historical figures at this table with you. What is that plate of food that came from the soil that you would want to have at this table with them?
Okay. So number one, I would have all of my guests create their own favorite meal from the soil. So basically, it's going to be an abundance of colors and textures and flavors. And we are going to kind of crescent it with a sauce from natural oils from the earth as well too, and the natural salts from the salt springs. And then it's going to be a grain. So it's going to be a bowl full of beans and grains and seeds and colors. And we're going to make a nice gravy. And then we're all going to have fresh water from a spring. And the dessert is going to be just a plethora of any kind of fruit. It'll be a fruit from all continents, from all over this world, and fruits that maybe all of us have never heard from because we're all from different parts of the world, but it's going to be an assortment of fruits from every single continent and every single country in this world. And the bowl is going to be as round as the table. And we're all going to be able to just pick and enjoy the sweetness and the flavor and the sense. And it's going to tingle our senses. That's what the meal is going to look and taste like. And that's where it's going to come from. Every corner of this world.
That's what an empowered plate should look like, with a good empowered cup of spring water. Thank you, Miss Adrienne. All right, so Miss Adrienne, let everybody know where they can find you and connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. At this time, I'm going to have to give my email address because my website is being built. So you know what? Reach out to me at Simmons, SIMMONS, no, do it again. I don't email myself that long. Simmons, SIMMONS 2020A at gmail.com. That's Simmons.
And I will have that email in the show notes as well.
Thank you.
If you didn't catch that and you're listening while you're driving, it's okay. Check the show notes. I have Miss Adrienne's email there so you can connect with the Vitality Coach herself. Y'all, it's your healthy habits and anti-inflammatory lifestyle coach, Jovonnie, helping those with adenomyosis, endometriosis, polycystic ovary syndrome, and fibroids embrace anti-inflammatory habits to reduce that pelvic pain, eliminate your distress, and regulate those periods. Y'all, we love you. We thank you. But most importantly, thanks for vibing with us, y'all.
Namaste.